Alright YouTube, welcome to my tutorial on how to calculate a bond price with a Casio calculator. This is if you're an accounting major in college, this is something you'll encounter in your intermediate accounting course where you're basically calculating bonds, principal and interest based upon present value tables and all sorts of other things that get kind of complicated. I feel like using this calculator can help you sort of at least make sure you're pointed in the right direction when you're doing these bond calculations, making sure that you're using the right present value table and that you're using the correct values and that sort of thing. This calculator definitely help you kind of get started when you're doing that. So let's jump into this and try to get through this as quickly as possible so you guys can move on here. So basically what you want to do first is just go to your menu on your calculator. This will take you to this main menu. You want to look for this TVM function here. That is where we're going to go for the bond calculation. TVM stands for time value of money. So you have to have that setting. All right, now we're in the TVM menu. The first thing we want to do is go into the setup options. Most of these you don't want to change. You do want to make sure that this date mode is at 365. That is one thing for sure. You want to make sure that you're at 365 days for your date mode. The third option down, periods per year. This is going to be very important when we calculate our bond. In this example, this is going to be a semi-annual interest payment. And you can see down here at the bottom, it might be kind of glared out, but this is, you have an annual on this side and semi-annual on the other. So just make sure that when you read your problem, make sure that you know whether you're on annual or semi-annual basis there for your interest payment. All right, so let's look at this problem. We're going to go to the next page on F4 on bond calculation. Here is where we're going to go. All right, so I've already got some values plugged in here. I'm going to zero out this PRC. Already got some values plugged in here. We're going to read the problem, and then we're going to talk about the values that are plugged into the calculator here. If I can cut that glare out. Okay, so over here in the problem, which is also the problem is written out in the description of the video. So it says that Mather Corporation issues a $500,000 bond. Okay, so this is a 5-year bond. The start date is June 30th, 2019. The stated rate of interest is 11%. That is the coupon rate. That is the rate of interest that Mather Corporation is actually going to be paying to the purchaser of the bond. And the interest rate is payable on a semi-annual basis. So this semi-annual is what we talked about earlier when we were in the settings for the calculator. So just keep that in mind, that setting is very important, and you want to make sure to read the problem that as it gives you in the book, make sure that you're on semi-annual or annual and your calculator set appropriately. So the question asks here, what is the price of the bond if the bonds are sold to yield 12%? So the stated rate of interest is 11, so we're going to pay 11% interest on this bond, but the market rate or the yield rate is 12%. So what that means is basically this bond's going to be sold at a discounted rate. So instead of paying $500,000 to Mather Corporation for this bond, someone's actually going to pay a discounted rate because they are actually getting a lower interest rate in return for that bond, so they're going to be paying less than 500 grand. Okay. All right, so let's look over here at the calculator real quick. So the first date is our start date, which we already read earlier is June 30th of 2019, and then we are going to enter that date. It's relatively easy, simple to enter this on the calculator. You can see this is 06 month, 30 day, 2019 year. So you just kind of like go in and you can just start hitting numbers. So 06 is how you'll enter your date, or excuse me, your month, and then next is the day. Just enter 30, and then next is a year, which is 2019. So that'll get you there. And then the date 2, we said earlier this is a 5-year bond. The second date is 5 years after the issue date, since this is a 5-year bond. So that would be June 30th, 2024, which is we already have plugged in on the calculator here. So just make sure to get those two dates plugged in like that. The next is a sort of what I would call a preset value from Casio. You'll probably need to plug this value in, but you want to leave this at 100. I highly recommend just leaving that value at 100. If it's not at 100 right now, go ahead and set that to 100, and then I'll show you later how to convert your price to what you need it to be. Next is the coupon rate. We talked about that earlier. As it says over here, the coupon rate is 11%, so all I'll do is just plug in 11 right there, and then we're good. Hit enter. The price is what we're actually going to calculate in just a few moments, And the yield rate, as we said earlier, is 12%. That is the market rate that this bond would be paying on the market in a typical situation. All right, so now all we have to do is hit F1, as you can see here on the PRC. F1, that's going to give us our price, and then we just want to write that down. Okay, so I'm just going to come down here on my paper and write PRC equals 96.31995647. All right, so don't pay any attention to the minus sign or anything. This is kind of funky formula that Casio has in here to calculate, and it's going to spit out a negative. Okay, so just ignore that. Now, after we've written that down, we want to do one more calculation, and this is just going to be by hand. Okay, so you want to go up here and remember our RDV value that was set at 100. Well, what we're going to do is just take that 500,000, which is our bond price. Okay, the face value of the bond. Excuse me, BP. So the bond price is $500,000. We're just going to divide that by the RDV, which is 100, and that's going to equal 5,000. Okay, and we're going to take that 5,000, multiply it times the PRC, and then that's going to give us our actual bond price, the discounted rate. All right, it's as simple as that. So then the rest of it's just plugging in numbers. So we're going to exit out of the TVM module, go into the run mat module, which is the this main thing here. And if you use this calculator for any period of time, you know that's where you do your main calculations of just add, subtract, and that sort of thing. So we're going to take our PRC value, which you can see up here is 96.31995647, and then we're going to multiply that times our value that we calculated here at 5,000. This is just related to that RDV figure, and what that's going to give you is your total discounted bond price. And now, I'm not going to say that this number is to the penny, because it really is plus or minus $1 depending on the present value table that you're presented with when you do your calculation by hand in class. So this figure is going to be plus or minus $1. It's going to be very close, but it may not be right on the nose, so just keep that in mind. And then if we take our $500,000 and subtract that, that is going to give us a figure, well, let's just do it here. So 500 minus your 481,599.78. So 500,000 minus the discounted price gives us a value of 18,400.22, and that is your bond discount. So the person that Mather Corporation has sold this bond to has gotten an $18,400 discount on the price of the bond because the bond only yielded 11% instead of the market rate of 12. So I hope that helps, guys, and let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Thank you so much. Bye.